I moved here in 2016. Networking is the secret to success in any industry, in any field, in any part of the world. Success leaves clues. If you go into a new industry, look for the most successful people in that industry, reach out to them. You'll be shocked how many doors will open simply by taking that little action. Luck requires a lot of hard work and strategic thinking on your end. I actually challenge people in the first 5 months, can you write down a list of 100 new people that you've met? I've lost 2 jobs since I've been in Canada. I saw the mistakes and the things that I had made in my journey as an immigrant and integrated into the Canadian society. I knew there was something bigger that was in plan. My name is Ayo Owodunni. I'm a City Councillor, Ward 5, Kitchener. Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure being here. My name is Ayo Owodunni. Sani Olayinka Ayola Owodunni. Let's go down that route so that my father will not be upset. I'll just kid it. I'm a city councillor in the city of Kitchener for Ward 5. I am also a management consultant. I teach at Conestoga College, so I'm a professor at Conestoga College as well. I moved here in 2016. My wife she was already a permanent resident at that point. And she got that through her parents because her parents had been here for quite some time. So we had reached the point in our marriage where she needed to come back. I think she spent 2 years out of Canada, and for your PR to be renewed, you have to do 3 out of 5 years. So we made a decision for her to come back so that she doesn't lose her PR. And then after she was here for a year, settling down, then I joined in 2016. So I came in with my visitor visa, and we started the application process as soon as I landed as well. And interestingly, within 8 weeks or so, the work permit came in, and I was lucky. Within 2-3 weeks of the work permit came in, I found a job. So my story is slightly different from many people's initially, because I was able to get something as quickly as possible. And that whole scenario with her having her PR, being here ahead, I think it just made things a lot easier for me, and I didn't go through the regular struggle that others would probably have gone through. I think on one hand, I've always just found myself to be very lucky in whatever space I'm in. So I would say luck had something to do with it. But I've always known, it was something that I learned from a mentor of mine, that networking is the secret to success in any industry, in any field, in any part of the world, period. So from the minute I landed, I was on meetup.com, and I was connecting and having meetings and doing all sorts of things in that space. One thing that I learned from my mentor from many years ago is success leaves clues. So if you go into a new industry, look for the most successful people in that industry, reach out to them, connect with them, look to spend time with them, and you'll be shocked how many doors will open simply by taking that little action. But unfortunately, I think not many people do that. You have to set yourself up for luck, and luck requires a lot of hard work and strategic thinking on your end. So I had done a lot of reaching out, sending messages, even down in church. When we first came, we immediately joined a small group, but within a few months, we switched small groups several times because we didn't want to go deep first. We wanted to go wide and then go deep in our relationships. And I think many immigrants, when we come, we want to go deep first. Yes, but you only know 10 people. So yeah, you have 10 deep relationships, but that's it. I went wide, and I went wide quickly. I actually challenge people in the first 5 months, can you write down a list of 100 new people that you've met? Be that crazy with it. So what I basically did, I connected with several people. I met someone on the volleyball court, interestingly, and they introduced me to another individual who introduced me to their mentor, who owns a consulting firm. So I went to that conversation to learn. Tell me more about the consulting industry here in Canada, because that's my background, is also in consulting. And halfway through the conversation, and I just noticed the guy kept smiling, and I was asking questions. He started asking me questions. I'm like, what's this? I'm the one to ask questions now. And at the end, he said, we have a job opportunity. We've not posted it yet. Would you be interested in it? And I said, oh yeah, sure. So then we started the whole interview process and all that. So I like to share with people, usually when that job goes on Indeed, there's probably a likelihood that they're just fulfilling all righteousness, as you would say, or they have an idea of a candidate that they will want. We all need to find a way to go beyond that. And we don't realize how, coming from our home countries, you know hundreds of people, thousands of people. When you come to a new place, you don't know that many. So you got to get very proactive and watch luck happen for you. Well, I will say that it's important for people, when you're making that transition, be extremely curious, number one. I think that helped me out a lot. Yes, I was already doing consulting work. I owned my own consulting firm in Nigeria before I came. I was already doing consulting for some organizations at a young age because I had mentors that were able to guide me and help me in that space. So that was helpful. But the minute I arrived, I came in with the mindset that I didn't know much. So I wanted to meet the top consultants. I wanted to read their books. I wanted to learn from them. So I joined immediately. I joined my industry association, and I got very active in it. In fact, last week I had a training for a company, and the person that was leading my association 6 years ago was sitting in the back of the room. I know that person. I don't remember from where. That also helps. So when I doing all those things and able to build a new network of mentors, you need to surround yourself with people that are way ahead and right in front of you as well. Be very intentional about it. I think doing those things just really help with that transition. Even till now, where doors open and calls come in simply because of someone that 5-6 years ago I met, I said I wanted to learn from, I stayed in touch with. Those types of things helped with that transition and made it easy. Another thing that I think is important is whatever the highest form of education is in your industry, go get it. So if it's a certification, go get it. If it is a master's degree or whatever, just go get it. Why? Because at the end of the day, you always want to set yourself apart when your name shows up on a resume. And I think that's something that my wife and I have always been passionate about. I don't rely on any of my degrees from Nigeria. For me, I consider them as non-existent, even my undergrad degree. Not because they weren't good enough. Did they add value? Absolutely. Did they make me the person I am today? Absolutely. But you need to also understand that for certain people, what they respect is experience, is education, from their space, from their industry, from colleges that they know of. So go get it. Make yourself that individual that is exceptional. I like to say when they meet me, they'll make the choice pro me. However, for you to meet me, I have to create a perceived value that will open that door as well. So it's important that people do that. Being active when it comes to associations, and I do this with my students first week of class. I ask 5 random people, what's your background? And they tell me the background. I go on Google and I type in, so let's say it is you're a dentist. I type in Dental Association Ontario or Dental Association Canada. If your background is Learning and Developments Association Ontario or Canada or wherever you are as you're watching this, and click on the first 2-3 links that come up, because most of them will focus on SEO and make sure they're at the top. Click on it, read through. Does it reflect your industry or what you do? Because sometimes it might be slightly different because of wordings or phrases. And then once you figure out, okay, this is the right one for me, go to the contact page, look for who the president is. Don't send them an email from their website. Add them on LinkedIn and then send a message. Why is that important? Because when you add people on LinkedIn, the more frequently and when you post, those people will see it. You can't tell the number of times where I meet people where I've not spoken to them in 4 or 5 years, but know exactly what I'm doing regularly, simply because I said, hi, how are you doing? We met for 5 seconds and I added them on LinkedIn afterwards. So add them on LinkedIn. I mean, yeah, you can send a message via the website as well, but don't just do that, because you become another name in the crowd. You don't ever want to be another name in the crowd. You always want to stand out. So add them on LinkedIn, let them know that you're interested in being a part of the association. Tell them about your background and say you would just like to learn more. What that does for me is when you say you like to learn more, oh, let's jump on a call or let's grab coffee or whatever. It's now an opportunity for me to expand my network and build a bit deeper. Then I learn about the person, who they are, what they do. They share with me as well. Why? Because in the back of my mind, this could be a potential mentor for me in the next 2-3 years, or in the next 1 year, or there could be a referral for a job in the future. So I want to know as much as I can about them. So I'm interested in their life story and how they got to where they are, and I'm leaning in and saying, wow. So that is starting to be active, by the way. All right, so I ask about the information when their meetings take place, then I show up. I don't ask to join any leadership, then I just show up. But I show up on time. I ask if they need help. I carry the chair when they carry a chair. I move things when they need moved, but I am there. I am there fully, physically, 100%. And then when an opportunity comes up, 6 months from then, a year from now, usually those associations, they have, AGMs and elections once a year, sometimes once every 2 years. Then you can volunteer or put your name in the ring for leadership. But they have to let them see you show up, be present, be the first to respond to emails or respond quickly. If you can't make it, let them know you can't make it. Like, I call that just common courtesy. Like, when you do those types of things, you set yourself apart from other people. And by the time you reach out to that person and say, hey, I'm looking for a job, or hey, I saw a posting in your organization, or hey, I saw this person on LinkedIn that you are connected to. That's why you need to add them on LinkedIn in the first place. Like, when you see a lot of those things, suddenly that individual is more than willing to go above and beyond for you. They're willing to put in a word for you. They're willing to step in at that point. And that's what I mean by being active. You got to be very strategic in how you go about doing that. So that one is very hard, I will say. So I don't want it to sound like, oh, it's easy, anyone can do it. No, it is hard, and you have to be intentional about it. I actually learned it from a former mentor of mine, who recently had passed away. What he would do was, when he was collecting your number or your email address, he would always ask for your birthday. And he always puts it into your contact details, or he'll put it into his Google. So on top of my Google, there are different people that I have their birthdays. I forget to do it most of the time, but I try to do it as often as possible. You put it there. He takes a picture of them. I don't have the confidence to do that till today. He takes a picture, so when you call, he sees your face and he knows exactly who you are. So it's not, who is this again? Like, you don't want that. My hope in 2024, one of my goals is to write a book, and I'm calling it Building Charisma, one behavior at a time. And the premise behind that is, many times we all feel charisma is something that is just God-gifted. I was a very awkward teenager. I was a very awkward young person even after graduation, but I met some individuals that were very charismatic. And I said I wanted to learn that because they drew people to them. And I started to pay attention to their behaviors. And when I write the book, I'm going to even list their names because they're still doing well and doing their thing now. And part of charismatic behavior, number one, is show great interest in other people. So when you're having a conversation with people, try to make the balance 60-40, 60 them talking, 40% you talking. And 60% of you listening, and that type of thing. But the idea is just show interest in other people. We don't realize how much we don't show interest in it. We want to tell people how smart we are, how good we are, and it's natural. We've been doing that from when we were a child. Like, we're always seeking attention. So I'm asking you to do something opposite of our natural behavior. That is charisma. You show an interest in other people. There is a quote about Benjamin Disraeli where a journalist said, when I met with him, I felt I was the smartest person in the world. Because the whole time he was like, tell me about you. Wow, that is amazing. That is awesome. And there are several people that when you get to meet them, you start to notice that they want to know about you, your kids, your wife, your husband, your this, your that. And they're just pulling so much out of you. And you leave the meeting feeling good. And you don't know that they've won your heart over. But they didn't talk much. They didn't try to impress you. They were just trying to learn more about you. So doing that is so, so important. And then how do you keep track of people over a period of time? Very simple. When someone's name comes into your mind, just send them a quick short message. Hey, I was just thinking about you. How are you? I think what people feel is they have to write a convoluted message. There has to be a reason behind the message. No, people's lives, people are very busy. They have so much happening. So when someone pops into your mind, and try to make it a priority once or twice a day, just one person popping into your mind, and send them a message. Hey, I just thought to say hi to you. Hope you're keeping well. And it could be you're walking down the street and somebody named Jonathan walked by. You remember the Jonathan that you know. Just send a message on LinkedIn, on WhatsApp, via email. You've not spoken in 5 years, or I don't know how to bring up the conversation again. Hey, how are you? It's been a while. That's it. That is it. That's what I do. It's just, hey, how are you? It's been a while. That's it. And the person will respond. Sometimes people respond with a long message. So good to hear from you. How are you doing? Boom. You've already broken whatever that lapse in time is. And recording the holidays, recording their birthdays. When people pop into your mind, send messages to them. If something is happening within their community, can you share with them? Here's another big question. Who needs this message? I think that is the most important one. And what do I mean by that? Earlier today, I was meeting with someone and they said to me, I just finished the meeting, and they said, oh, we just hired a new director of entertainment. What's the first thing that came into my mind? Who needs this message? Oh, so my drive here, let me call Uche. Uche needs to hear that message. Let me email this person. This person needs to hear that. Become a connector. Become a giver. Whether it's giver of time, giver of money, giver of resources, but more importantly, giver of information. People need information. Be that person that can say, oh, this is something you should hear. I met a Nigerian that just moved here 3 weeks ago, and his background is heating, plumbing, and electrician. Oh, interesting. I've never heard of that before. But then just last week at a random event, I met someone who said, I help electricians find jobs in the community. Who needs to hear that information? Oh, here's this other person. That was the connection I was able to do, and hopefully they have a meeting and something good can come out of it. My job is not to focus on the outcome. My job is to connect them and move on. But when you do that, you're able to keep tabs on different people. But like I said, it's very hard. As a politician, I wear many hats. Being a Canadian, you're representing the country, you represent a group of constituents, you represent different people that live in the ward. I'm also Nigerian. I was born and raised in Lagos. My mother is from Amunigun in Ibadan. My father is from Ijebu-Ode, as well. My wife's family, they're from Abeokuta, so you have your traditional hat that comes on. But with that, you're also sitting in a place where there's an indigenous community. So that is something, thinking about that as well. I represent Ward 5, and Ward 5 is very diverse, and it's thousands and thousands of people. So that's another hat. There is the African community around here. But with each and every one of this, people want deep relationships. People want to connect with you. People want to have conversations. People want you to know that you understand their issues and concerns. People want to know me as an individual, or they want to know me as a counselor. So it is quite complex. And many times you have to be given. You're a giver to the end of the day, and you're exhausted by the end of the day. So it comes with the territory, unfortunately. But I still see it as a privilege as well. And I need to be able to balance it with trying to be charismatic, trying to connect with people, trying to work with different people. It can be tough. So I understand when people say, how do you connect with different people? It's very hard, but it comes with the role. So I also have to do it well. Well, I've lost 2 jobs since I've been in Canada, and it made me question my value. It made me question, what I bring to the table. There was a point where I was underemployed, and for a long period of time, I remember there was a point I was so depressed I didn't go to work for 3 days. I just laid in bed. I wasn't sick. Well, I guess you can't call it depression sickness, but I was just feeling so way below potential that I was extremely, extremely frustrated. So there were really, really tough times, even the points where I lost my job. It wasn't until I read a book called Canadian Workplace Cultures, written by Matt Adolphi. I feel like that book was such a lifesaver for me that I recommend every immigrant to buy that book and read it. And I want to say a big thank you and shout out to Matt Adolphi for writing that book. It was after I read that book that I saw the mistakes and the things that I had made, I'd made in my journey as an immigrant and integrated into the Canadian society. And I was able to own up those mistakes and those areas that I made a mistake so that I can work on those mistakes and become a better person. So it wasn't yes, initial part of my story, the integration was easy, finding a job was easy, but it got tough over time. And I needed to build what I would call cultural intelligence. We always tell other people to be cultural intelligent about immigrants coming into their community. We as immigrants also need to be culturally intelligent about the community that we're coming into, and the workplace cultures that we're going into, and the interactions and the people that we're working with. And I think my cultural intelligence in terms of those were very low, and it affected so many things, which ended up leading to me losing my job twice. So yeah, there were some major struggles through the way. Building a cultural intelligence was big. Getting mentors in that space was big. Being humble, learning to be humble, because I think with the Nigerian blood comes the chest high walk that we like to do. Funny, I was in Ghana once and I said something. I was chatting with a Ghanaian, and next question he said, "Are you a Nigerian?" And I said, "How do you know? Like everywhere I go, that's the first thing people ask me here." And they said, "You Nigerians are very aggressive. You're very loud. You stick out like a sore thumb." So, I just thought you should all know that, especially all the Nigerians listening. So I needed to learn how to tone some of those things down, and I'm not good at it many times. There are times it just creeps out again, and I need to find a way to tone it down, and I need to be reminded. And thank God for my wife, who does a lot of pinching and kicking under the table to help with those things, and that look of utito, type thing, like, okay, that means I need to move on, right? Because sometimes I don't even realize that I'm doing it. But a lot of those things helped. One thing, in addition, that really, really helped, and I'm sure this is going to be controversial, I called a former employer that let me go. And I asked, what can I do better? I promise you I'm not recording this conversation. The intention is not to sue anything. But I know the goals and the dreams that I have for myself in Canada. And I know if I don't figure this thing out, because this is the second time this is happening to me, what did I do wrong and what can I do better? And he was gracious enough to provide me with the feedback on things that I needed to do better. And I actually wrote them down to help me out. It was extremely humbling. And not many people, it was actually my father-in-law that challenged me to do that. So if he didn't challenge me, I never would have done it. But he was the one that said, okay, Ayo, this thing has happened twice, and you've only been here for about 4 years. Okay, there's something. If it's once, maybe it's them. But if it's twice, Baba, you need to start looking in the mirror as well. Like, okay, there are things that you need to probably work on. So it's your father-in-law. I can't go back to my father-in-law's house and say, I did not do the assignment you gave me. That's wahala. So I reluctantly did it, but I am so glad looking back a few years that I did that, because I think it was so helpful and the feedback was very helpful. But like I said, it's controversial, and I personally won't advise people to do it, but it really helped me. So maybe there is some nuggets there for someone. I feel like that's the most important part. We bash our home country, Nigeria, too much. We don't realize, yes, some of the challenges and some of the things that are there can be very frustrating, but we don't realize how much resilience that builds in us. There are times where I struggle to make decisions at council because for me, it is not a big deal. It is not a big deal. So I'm learning I'm learning empathy at a completely different level. We have learned resilience at such a very interesting pace and space and a limited amount of time. It was like you were this diamond that has been pressured and pressurized over a period of time. And we don't appreciate that. We see the bad of it, but we don't see the good in it. I took a course a few years ago that was life-changing. It's called Neuro-Linguistic Programming back in Nigeria. 7 days long, very intensive course. Not many people are going to be into it because there is a lot of positive affirmation. There were some parts of it that was almost close to hypnotism. Like there was a lot of that. But it's a study of exceptionalism that has been built into models over a period of time, and how language can program you and those types of things. But one of the activities that we went through in that program was very painful for many of us, but was very liberating. We talked about our painful experiences in life, and then the instructor asked a very powerful question that for many people might sound very insulting. And the question was, what is the good that came from that? And people hate that. We all hated that question. In fact, I remember someone in the class stood up and said, this person raped me. How dare you ask that kind of question? How dare you ask that kind of question? And he listened, he got the feedback. He said, if there was a 0.5% of any good coming out of that, what is the good? And I remember the instructor really took some time to allow her to vent, let it sit for a bit, and then he said something around, and I'm paraphrasing at this point, like if there was a 0.5% chance anything came out of that was good, that could add value to your life, what could it be? And I will never forget, she was in tears. You could see her struggling with the question, the anger, the pain. And we all watched this thing go on for the next 15, 20 minutes, where he eventually said, would you like to be liberated? And she said, yes. And he said, liberated from what? And she said, the anger, the pain, the frustration. How dare, you could feel her voice rising. And then he said, that person still has the power over you. Do you want to be liberated from that power? And you can feel the resolve from that individual. Yes, I want to be liberated. What good could have come out of that for you? I became a stronger person. Interesting. What else could have come out of that? I can teach other young people how to protect themselves. Really? Wow. You could see him getting louder, and she is in tears this whole time. Her eyes were closed, and it's like, what else could come out of that? And she started to list things, and you can see him getting louder. What else could come out of that? And he's sharing. And then when they went through that, and all of us are sitting down like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And I said, yes, it was a painful event in life. Yes, I don't wish that on you or anyone else. But you've gained some things from that that the world can learn from through you, don't let that go to waste. Don't let that go to waste. And that individual, by day 7, was a completely different person. Completely different person. So I share all that. And if I offend anyone with that story, yes, I understand. I want to acknowledge that going through such an experience is a very painful experience. I'm just sharing something that happened in a session. So you might not agree with it, but it was something that happened in a session. But I want people to think about their experience from their home country. What if there is a 0.5% good that came out of that, what could it be? For me, it was resiliency. For me, it was, I just learned how to be very active. For me, is the power of intentionality. For me, is the importance of focus. For me, is gratitude. There are times I hear people say some things about, oh, my house is not big enough. I am happy I have a roof over my head, because I lived with my mother till a month before I got married. I had no money to my name. So I am great. I have my own house. My family's living it. Like when I see my children running around the house, I'm like, wow, this is my house with my family. I couldn't drive for years. Now I can drive and I have my own car. I have 2. Like just that power of gratitude through all that. So those are the things that I bring with me. And oh my gosh, you have no idea what that does when you bring that to the table at different spaces. We miss those things. We only think about our skills, but you forget about all those other things that you bring in. By the way, those are leadership qualities that many organizations are looking for. Your ability to empathize with people, emotional intelligence, resilience, ability to think strategically, intentionality, power of focus. All of those things are things that companies are looking for. So you're bringing all of those things. You've been trained in it for years at a high rate, and you're coming with all of that. Don't see Nigeria as a curse. See it as a blessing. It was a blessing that we all got. And you're here now. You can utilize all those things. Don't lose it, because there are many people that are in dire need of it. Absolutely. So there's a formula that someone taught me a few years ago. AV plus PV times consistency equals your brand. AV means actual value. PV means perceived value. Consistency is consistency equals your overall brand. First of all, you got to build a brand for yourself. In many countries, people come in here, LinkedIn was not as, they didn't see that much of a use for it. So sometimes you have someone with a selfie, you know. So first thing, I need you to change your LinkedIn picture. There are AI features out there. You can put a random picture, it will make you look like, you know, you went to a studio, or go to a studio and get someone to take a picture of you. Hey, the company that's doing this does that already. So go right ahead and do that. Eliminate the AI part. So that's one. Start becoming a thought leader in your space. How can you do that? Very simple. Start writing something within your space at least once a week. Do a write-up, do a video. Well, I don't know what to write. Go to ChatGPT. Say, act as a thought leader. This is my topic. This is my area of focus. Develop a 1-year content plan for me. Press enter. Within 2 seconds, ChatGPT has given you a 1-year plan. Copy it, paste it, put it in a Word. Take the first topic. Act as a content writer. Write a blog in this space. Provide 3 tips. Make sure it's up to 200 for something words. This will be posted on LinkedIn. Boom. ChatGPT can do that for you. If you want to really take this seriously, pay for ChatGPT Plus. It's $20 a month. This is your career we're talking about here, so take it seriously, you know, because then ChatGPT Plus will do research for you online and post statistics and data and quotes for you while it writes it. You copy and save everything into an Excel document. Once a week, you post it online. Once a week, you do a video where you're talking. You can regurgitate the same information, but you just say it in your own words. You post it online. Your tribe will start looking for you over time. That's how you start building your perceived value. Your actual value is your appearance, your behavior, your communication. your executive presence. Go take a course on it. Go to Toastmasters. Learn how to speak properly. I'm not even come to talk about, the whole underemployment thing. Like, do all those things first. Dress like your boss. Dress for the position that you want, not the position that you're in. The way you dress is the way you will be addressed. This is not motivational stuff. I feel like this is just like life. This is stuff that I paid thousands of dollars for an executive coach, and they taught me, and people are getting here for free because I believe immigrants need this type of information. But I needed to go and do those things, and it was being so intentional in every single thing that I did around building that brand. Go and, yes, you have a CV, go build a profile of yourself, a biography for yourself as well. So as you do those things, then, like I mentioned before, join your association, get active in those areas. So now you're a thought leader building stuff online. You're meeting people at your association meetings. You're adding every single person on LinkedIn. So they're seeing your thought leadership content. You're going for different events. Find mentors in your space that are way ahead of you, people that can pull you as well. You go to them and you start to learn from them. They start to share things with you. They start to introduce you to people. Ask 5 mentors, is there someone that you feel I should know that I can learn from? 5 suddenly becomes 10. So now you're expanding yourself as well over space. What people don't realize is we focus so much on just applying for roles online. Networking opens doors for you. LinkedIn shared statistics sometime back. I don't know if it was 80 or 85%, I might be wrong on this, but basically number of jobs that are gotten through your network, it is extremely high. And I shared a story with you earlier on of an individual that basically I went through an interview process and then they posted the job online. Think about that. So you are applying for a job that someone is already into and they already have in mind. So most companies sometimes already know someone internal that they're looking for. In fact, I had a scenario once where a CEO told me that he was going to retire in a year. So the job is not going to be posted for a year and a half, but some people knew about it a year before. How are you going to compete with someone that knows about a job a year before, that has had a chance to get to know the organization over a year, then you are coming a year later? So if you're underemployed, start doing a lot of these things. Is it going to fix things for you overnight? No, it's not. But that's why you need to start it early on. Because those people that you're building relationships with, those people that see you as a thought leader, are people that can speak on your behalf behind closed doors when you're not in there. And you need those things, and you got to be so intentional about building them. So usually when I meet with immigrants, and I'm writing a book now called Dear Immigrant Soar, strategies that immigrants that can use to thrive in a new community. One of the things, a chapter is going to be dedicated to developing the 10-year plan. Like, that's the first activity I want to do with any immigrant that wants me to coach them. I want to know what your 10-year plan is. If you don't have a 10-year plan, then don't even talk to me. Like, there's no point. So that way you're building something for 10 years from now, and we're reverse engineering the process. So you want to be a CEO or a VP in some industry in 10 years, we start building it now. The reason why I didn't sue that company and I called that VP of HR to get advice was because I had a 5-year plan. And I knew that that would taint my plan and my actual value and my perceived value. So I scrapped it and put it aside. Because for the greater good, I knew there was something bigger that was in plan. This was just a temporary setback for me. So develop your plan, work your plan, build your brand. Consistency is part of that formula that I shared. You got to be consistent over time. Build that network like crazy, and you will be shocked how luck happens for you. Luck is a result of all those things. Luck is not, God opens heavens and things just pour out. You work hard and something starts to happen. That's a good question. Have I been able to settle fully Yes, I would say yes. I've been able to. I had to think about it. Like, have I really settled fully? I still feel like there's more work that I want to do and I need to do. But I'm also thinking of it as a politician. Because as a politician, there are so many associations, so many communities. There are 15, 16 African associations. Have I really had a chance to really, not as well as I would like to. But have I fully settled in a community as an immigrant? I would say yes. And how have I been able to do that? I became extremely active. I networked like crazy. I know all my neighbors very well. My neighbor was in my house a few days ago doing something, and I went to his house to grab something yesterday, and he was giving me he's a Caucasian couple, jollof rice pots or whatever that Falake had made for them a few days beforehand. Like, we are all that close. In fact, a few weeks ago, there was a fire in my basement, and I came out running with the kids because I needed to go in and fight the fire. So I came out running with the kids, and my neighbor, as soon as they heard fire, grabbed the kids and took them inside their house. And the wife did that. The husband ran into my house. My other neighbor, who was walking his dog, ran into my house and gave me the dog and told me to hold. So here I am, the owner of the house, holding the dog, and my neighbors are fighting my own fire. And I'm like, I need to go as well. So, of course, I was also trying to call 911 through that whole process. But that's how much of a community we've tried to build with the neighbors that we have. John Maxwell says something. He says, if somebody comes to him and says, my neighborhood is bad and terrible and this and that, and they're looking to move into a neighborhood, he says there's a high likelihood they'll still experience the same thing. We mirror what people do to us, or we receive what we do to other people. But if we're warm, if we initiate contact, if we try to connect with people, try to build relationships, you'll be shocked by how that goodness will come back to you as well. I think everywhere that my wife and I have lived, we've made it a priority to get to know our neighbors. We see them, we talk to them, their kids play with our kids, vice versa, that type of thing. Has it always been 100% perfect? Not really. But have we always built close relationships with all our neighbors? Absolutely. And I learned so much about them and their lives and their culture as well. So we are very intentional about doing those things. Please do not come here and say, oh, I don't know that culture. See it as, oh, wow, I don't know that culture. Here's a great opportunity to learn something different, And don't see your culture as subpar to anyone. See it as, oh, here's a great culture that you can learn as well. Because that's the beauty about what Canada gives us. It's this integration of cultures where we can learn good from one another and help build a better person and build a better community, better families as well. That's the beauty of what we have. But you can miss that if you only focus on, oh, I don't know this group or I don't know this community well. So what? Go meet them, get to know them. You'll be shocked by what you can learn from them. What do I miss most about home? I'm the last one of 6, so I miss that family environment. I miss sitting in Ojodu Saturday nights, drinking gari and sugar, and my mom warning me a million times, Rama wo sugar to nje gari to ma muti poju. Please, I hope you translate that in English for people. I miss sending someone 10 naira. I'm sure because inflation has gone up now to go buy ekpa that we can add to the gari. I miss the aho and eating the fried guinea fowl and just sitting outside and just laughing and just gisting. I think that's the beauty of home that we miss, because here is cold. We all have a way of you drive your car into your garage. You drive your car, you walk right in, and then sometimes you just say, hello, that's it. And then, no, not Lagos. People will show up unannounced. And it's like, I'm my boy, wale. You sit down, you talk about nothing for hours. But I feel like now, somebody said they were coming to visit me. I said, for what? They said, they were just coming to visit. And I was like, Ayo, for what? Coming to, that was not a problem growing up. Now it's for what? It's like, my time is segmented. Like, for how long? For what? What did you want? What do you need? Can you send the voice notes? They have to come. So I've changed, unfortunately. But I miss that. I miss the food. I miss the friends that you grew up with, and all of those types of things. I miss I miss the parties, the Ember Month parties. Hi, I miss the church services and how church was and how things were done. You didn't know that was the good old days when it was happening. I wish we knew so we could have cherished it more. But unfortunately, when you go in now, you only catch a 0.5% of it. You don't catch the full thing as it was before. It's not the same. Everyone has grown up. Everyone has their own kids, their own lives. Things have changed. Things are more expensive. So things have changed a lot. But those are the things that I miss. And in terms of relaxation, what do I do to relax? That is a good question. I like to travel. And travel does not mean I'm going to another country. Travel is, my wife and I enjoy going to see small cities, small towns across Canada. Canada is so big that there's so many places you can visit. So I like to do that. I like to go by the beach side and just sit there and just stare at the waves and just think. I think a lot. I like to think a lot. And my wife actually says I mumble to myself sometimes, and she thinks it's strange. But now my daughter mumbles as well, so I don't know. She mumbles, talks to herself as well, but I guess she got it from me. But I'm a thinker. I like to think. I'm sure you can see it here. It's all the years of thinking that is coming out now that annoys her, that is value to others. But those are things that I enjoy doing. And usually weekends, I love to watch movies with the family. It's just a good way to relax, come back together, reconnect, and have fun. And by the way, may I put this plug? Cuba is a place that I think everyone should visit. It's cheap, it's affordable, and you can have a good time as a couple there. So I just thought to plug that. I think usually, and some people are looking at some people here in the studio. But the reason why I share that is I think most times people are thinking, vacation is $4,000, $5,000. Cuba is $1,500 for two, for a full week, all inclusive, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you're by the beach the whole time. You can have an amazing time there. So if you're thinking of a couples retreat or family or something like that, look for cheap options. Look for cheap options and things that you can do and places you can go. And you enjoy yourself. You don't have to, please don't post it online. Nobody cares. So let's stop posting. Here's why, and I think it's important to share this. You post it online, someone that doesn't have the money, that is new in the country, is seeing it. Now their level of frustration has gone up. Now they don't feel like they can enjoy their journey. Life is a journey. Enjoy where you are in life. Enjoy it. It's okay. But we try to do I better pass my neighbor. So we must show them. We must pepper them. We must combine it so that we are showing and peppering at the same time. And my question is, why has that been ingrained in us that we have to show and pepper? No. Your life is a journey. Everybody's life is different. Go on your vacation. Enjoy it. You don't have to post it anywhere. Nobody needs to know. And just go have fun. I realize I need to replenish regularly because I have to give because of my role. For the next 4 years, I made a commitment to give. I got to be on top of my game every day. If I'm empty one day, I don't have anything to give that day. And I'll probably be frustrated, yelling. No, I need that positive energy to be able to give to people. I'm working on my next book, and just last night I had to sit down and reflect on this. And here's what I wrote. And I don't remember his name anymore, but a famous cricket star. His idea of success is very different from Gandhi's idea of success. Michael Jordan's idea of success is very different from Wayne Gretzky's idea of success. Wayne Gretzky had a 30-year-old idea of success is very different from Wayne Gretzky at 50. and Wayne Gretzky at 65. So you're very right. Success is very different for everyone. That's why we can't compare ourselves. So I want to start with that. That is why we cannot compare ourselves, because your idea of success and my idea of success are very different. So we need to stop this thing where someone has to project their idea of success and it has to be your idea of success. Some people want to retire at the age of 65. I told my wife, I want to work till I drop dead. I'm sorry. I want to work till I drop dead. John Maxwell shared a story of his dad at 94 at the retirement home, saying that, man, this retirement home, they don't have a church. I'm going to start services. He said, even correct, his dad said to him that he wants to do live streaming. And he said, live streaming for what? Who are you live streaming to from the retirement home? And then one day his dad said to him, I'm thinking we're going to start 2 services. And he said that challenged him that, oh my gosh, I'm not even close to 90. Like, my dad is years ahead of me, decades ahead. And this is what this man thinks of success at that age is given. I don't want to be 65 and just sitting around going on different vacations. No, for me at 65, I want to be serving. I want to be in different places, serving and giving. I probably will write many books at that point as well. So, Ayo at 39 now, I'm going to be 40 in April. I'm time-stamping this, unfortunately. My idea of success at the age of 40, a husband that his wife will respect, a father that his children would like to emulate, a citizen that can inspire people to take action, and a man that is able to take care of the needs of his family, that their well-being, their financial concerns are taken care of. That is it for me. At 50, that might be different because my 5-year plan evolves every 5 years as well. So it might be different at that point. But for me, that is the core. Oh yeah, my mother to be proud of me as well. That for me at 50 is an idea of success. For someone else, it can be different. And that is perfectly okay. But for me, that is the core of me and the type of person I want to be. And that's what makes me happy. My name is Ayo Owodunni. I'm a city councillor, Ward 5, Kitchener. I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm a representative of community, I'm a Nigerian, I'm a Canadian. I'm Ayo Owodunni.